So a residual haunt is just a recurring memory, so it's something that plays over and over and over and over and over again. And it usually will always play the same time every day, or every other day, or once a month, or once a year. It just depends. The residual haunt that we have here, it sounds like someone's running down the hallway. But what it is, it actually sounds like it's taking a couple steps from this hallway from our right, or my right, your left, but walking, turning right in front of the nurse's station, and then taking off running. And what you actually hear is, you can hear the footsteps, and then almost like it's scooting its feet, instead of just actually turning, but scooting its feet, so a little skid sound, and then just run. Happens at every time we investigate, it always happens the same time. It's usually around 8 or 9. Most of the time, you won't really hear it unless we're absolutely quiet, but never when there's more than 2 people. Haven't figured that one out yet. Also within this area, we're actually going to kind of full on skip just because of how big our group is. In the video you guys watched, there was a purple screening. It was actually one of our investigators said, "Oh my God, I just saw a pair of legs." It was actually right in front of the doorway in front of, or behind me. That's the nurse's station. When we asked him what he saw what it looked like a pair of nylon stocking legs with a pair of old-fashioned white sneakers, or white shoes. If it was tuberculosis time, that's what the nurses wore. They wore all white, and it was like a white one-piece dress with white stockings, white shoes, and a little white nurse hat. And that's what they wore. So that's kind of what he sees. And we think that might be a residual haunt as well, because we've seen it a number of times, always around the same time as well. It's never different times of the day or anywhere else. It's always in the same place, the same time, never had any other time. Also in the nurse's station, we've actually caught about 2 or 3 good EVPs. One of our favorite is what we would consider a Class A EVP. And it was co-founder Sumi and one of our other investigators, Corey. They were standing about 2 arm lengths apart. Both of them had voice recorders. And they asked, "Do you want to say anything?" And they caught a female voice saying, "Hello." It was actually in the video. The best part was, it wasn't on just one voice recorder. It was on both. And on top of that, both of them heard it with their ears. So loud that they actually reached out in front of them thinking somebody was standing there. But no one was there. So that's what we would consider a Class A EVP. Our other, probably our favorite EVP, it's not a Class A, but it's funnier. We actually found a bunch of menus in the nurse's station, and we were just looking through them, just kind of talking to ourselves within the group. And we're like, I wonder what's good here. And we got an EVP that answered us. And it said, "Soup's good." Still haven't got an answer of what kind of soup it is yet. And we've asked that a number of times. No one answers us. All right, so we're actually going to go down to your guys' right, that way. I want you to go all the way to the very end of the hall, and you're going to basically go down the hall and then turn right to go down the other hallway, but stop before you go through the door. Because they're just basically going to stop before the door, turn back around to face me. This way it's just easier for us to get back down this way of the hallway. Let's go. And watch your step. A lot of the tile is starting to come up. And I go right ahead. Tile down the hallway, but not actually go out the door. All right, face back towards me so you'll be able to see me and hear me in just a sec. What are the 2 candles back? Which one? Next row. If they're up on the windowsill, it's just us lighting the windows for the after dark. If they're actually in there, the one that's here in the hallway is from the in the video. We got an EVP saying that's my needle. And it was like right outside of there. And also we got EVP saying get rid of that. One of our investigators had an e-cigarette. But during certain times, cigarettes were not allowed in here, and of course, they couldn't tell the difference between an e-cigarette and regular cigarettes, so they had to get rid of it. All right, guys, so everyone come pile back over here, because I'm actually going to squeeze over here in a second. So I'm going to squeeze over here. So, guys, come over here and into this hallway.
Who's that? Who's that? It's just been Halloween.
Everyone that's still over here needs to get over here. So everybody that's over here needs to get over here. All right, guys. So, everyone saw the thing standing in the window?
Yes.
That's Smokey the Bear.
That sounds like
Smoky Bear.
Unfortunately, he's decrepit. He's basically falling apart. He has no face. He almost has really no front to him. He's fallen apart. He's decrepit. The reason why we like to point him out is evidence. Everything can be explained. If it cannot, that's the only time you present it. So everything that we've ever shown you, everything that we tell you within our ghost tours, is things we can't explain. We've tried recreating, we've tried explaining it. Maybe that vibration is something else. Maybe that sound was from a door or something. If we can't figure it out, then that's when we say, okay, well, maybe it was something paranormal. Same thing with Smokey. We've gotten a number of people showing us photos. Oh, I saw a ghost in the window. I got a picture of it. No, it's Smokey. No, it's a ghost. No, it's Smokey. We've gotten a number of people that will argue with us that it is a ghost. And it's clearly not. We've gotten a number of people that think that dust is orbs, and well, no, it's clearly not. So it's one of those, it's just kind of us trying to show you that everything can be explained, and only when it can't do you present it. Now, the story about the mimic. This is where we kind of finish that story a little bit. So last year, on Halloween, we did a raffle again. Or we did a raffle last year, which we are doing again. So our raffle winners came with us on an investigation here at the hospital. Our investigations are anywhere from 8 to 10 hours. They lasted 2. Our raffle winners were a mother, husband, son. Well, the first room we went to was the shadow room, which is the room we're going to be going to next.
Oh, great.
We went there first only because we know we get a lot more stuff from there, and we figured if they're going to quit early, might as well get that one done. So from there, we came down here to the hallway because we wanted to show them Smokey. And when we came down here, we decided to do a little EVP session. I was standing here. Kenny was actually here in this corner. The husband was right next to him. Sumi was on this corner, and the mother and son were actually leaning up against the window. The mother was against the window. Her son was in front of her. As we're asking questions, I keep seeing her turn and look behind her, but the look on her face kept getting more and more confused and then scared. So finally I asked her, I was like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay to keep going? She's like, no, we're leaving. It's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, no, we're leaving. We're not staying. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll escort you out. So they got their stuff and they left. And it wasn't, dilly-dally walking down. No, she basically was running out of the building. son in tow. Finally, about 6 months later, we finally got a hold of her, not for lack of trying. We did try and contact her a number of times. We finally got a hold of her again about 6 months after. And we asked her, what happened? We need to know. It was part of our investigation. We need to know. She's like, well, it was weird. It felt like something was holding my shoulders, but pushing down. It's like, okay, well, that could happen. I mean, if there's something paranormal around you, it feels heavy. She's like, but that wasn't the scary part. I was whispering to myself. I was like, okay, well, what do you mean? She's like, it sounded like I was behind me, whispering back into my ear. It's like, okay, well, you were against the window, so no one was behind you. What did it say? I can't tell you. Well, what can you tell me? It had to deal with my son and what was going to happen to him if we stayed. That's why they left. They've yet to come back. That was we did our investigation with them in December last year. And they still haven't come back. And they live in Capitan. So it's not like they're not locals.
So they haven't come back to the grounds at all?
No, they have not set foot back on the grounds. So, like I said, what she actually encountered was the mimic. There was something that was bothering her enough for it to be able to feed off of it. So like I said, if you do feel that way, make sure you're stern enough to tell it to leave you alone. All right? So from here, we're going to go all the way to the other side of the hallway. You're going to stop where I stop and get as close together as possible so we're able to sneak into that other room quickly. All right, let's go.
Smoky is still pretty damn scary.
Alright guys, everybody close? Can you see me? Yes. Alright guys, so the next room we're actually going to be going into is the shadow room. So the shadow room is actually a room that we consider to be, or think to be, a portal room. That being said, I will explain that when we go in. So in this room we actually have encountered many things. One, the Shadow Man. He's probably about 7.5 feet tall, it seems. And he's not only been seen walking from 201 to the room across the way, but he's also been caught walking down the wall line of the hallways. And he's been seen ducking in and out of the room, kind of like this. Just taller.
Hi, how are you?
I'm not that tall, so I'm not that scared. He's like, well,
Creeping out.
one of the times that he was seen, the Eagles of America were actually given a tour of the building. So as they were coming around the corner, they basically got stopped by the Shadow Man. And what they saw was duck out, come back in, duck out, and sprint right at them. 3 of them left running. One was so scared he just stood there and cried. At least that's what I was told. So, no, and this was not at night. This was during the day. So, when the Shadow Man can actually be out during the day and be prominent enough to be out during the day, he's a pretty strong entity. All right, now saying that, let's all pile in there. Just be very careful. There are some bed frames set up, and they are right at shin height. Come on in.
This way, not that way.
All right, so as you guys enter this room, does it seem colder to you? Well, you're also in a park over there. So, this room is actually, like I said, we consider it a portal room. That being said, it almost seems like there's a vortex, a spiritual vortex. In certain areas, it almost feels like there's actually a breeze floating through when there's actually no breeze. This room also has what we call an audible vibration to it. So how many of you know what a tuning key is?